So we need both of these papers. This is the journal elements, and we are going to cut them all apart. Then take your tag elements. To begin with this, go ahead and cut off our ID strip. And then we're going to cut it in rows. We will not cut these all out. So I have this. We need this tag. These you can set aside. And this one we need the first and the third. And on this last one, we need these three. So we don't need the first one or the last one. But keep them together. Do not cut them apart. Now we're going to build our pages. So here's the sample. We need the pieces we just cut apart, and then our book. So to begin, you need to find this piece. And it gets trimmed to 3 3/4. And then from the top, so we want to go this way. And I'm going to put my score tape on the bottom of it. And we're going to put it in our book. So I'm going to move these other pages out of the way. So it's going to be adhered right like so, centered on this first flap. Then we'll move on to the second. This we're going to make a pocket out of our tags. So we need to score here and here. And we're going to trim this on this tag so that it's only got about 1/4 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch. Let me do that first. What am I going to do with my score pen? Because this doesn't line up, I'm going to move it over a smidge. So that I can score between those tags. So I want this only 1/4 of an inch. I just eyeballed it. And then we also need to cut it to 3 1/4 in height. So basically what I want to do is cut off those. So that my piece looks like this. Now is when I want my notch punch. This is a new tool by Spellbinders. Put it in there and cut my notch. If you don't happen to have a notch tool, just use a circle punch and place it in halfway. I'm going to put some tape on both the bottom. Again, we're making a pocket with this. And I want this little lip to be on the inside. And I'm going to, before I take off my adhesive, I'm going to lay it down, make sure it all matches up nicely, and use my bone folder to burnish it. And when I pull off my adhesive, it will go right in place. And now it's a little pocket. So we need to obviously put something in our pocket. And that's this tag. So again here, I trimmed it right between the white and the lower flower part. And it needs to also be trimmed. And then this is 2 1/4. But because it's got the tag part, I can't cut it all off of one edge. And do about 2. And then turn it around and do the 1/4 on the other side. And then we're cut where the tag is. And mine is, I left a little of the above tag there and I don't like that, so I'm going to trim that off. Okay. Now it should fit easily in there, like so. Okay, and then we'll put adhesive on the bottom of this. And this will be centered on the second flap. So I just go all the way to the bottom and then press it down. We're going to come back later and do all of our embellishing. So next, we need to find this piece. This one we're not going to do anything to. We just need to put some adhesive on the bottom. And it's going to get adhered all the way to the right on our flap. So all the way to the right edge. Just like that, all the way to the right edge. And that one's done. Next, we need to find the bunny. And that's a paper, not a tag. So it's like this. And I trimmed it right above that line above the number 1. And let me make sure I didn't trim it the other way. No, 4. Okay. Now you need your sticker sheet, and we're going to use this sticker here. And what I did was laid it just on the edge of the number 1 and then go all the way to the bottom. Then fold it up on itself, matching that second scallop piece, and then they should all match. And when you get to the top edge, just trim it. Then you can take this piece and put back on your sticker sheet to save for later. Then we're going to put adhesive on the lower edge of this bunny paper. And then this piece gets attached to the left of your next flap. And I think I'm going to come a little bit over so that that first bump you see the first bump is right there. And so that when you see your book, then you see the scallops around that paper. Okay, let's move on. This next one's another pocket. And we will need this paper and your butterfly paper. So we need these 2 papers, not the tag, but the 2 papers. We're going to need to do some trimming here. This is 3 1/4, but I didn't, as you can see, I didn't want this up that high. I wanted it down. So I'm going to trim 1/4 inch off the bottom. And then we wanted it to be 3 1/4. Then I'm going to score 1/4 inch on each side. So we got 1/4 inch there and 1/4 inch there. And this measurement is 2 3/8. This is the piece that we need to trim to 2 3/8. There's 1/4. And then it also needs to be, I believe, 3 1/4. Yes, 3 1/4 tall. I'm going to trim the bottom off. And then just confirm that that does match up. We need our notch punch again, and I'm going to put a notch in the top. adhesive on the sides. And let's put adhesive here. So I want to lay that right on top. Like that. And then take off that adhesive on that other edge. And lay that on. And now we have another pocket. I'm just going to burnish that well. Put adhesive on the back. And this one is centered on our next page flap. Then we need a tag out of this, and this will be the other butterfly tag. And it needs to be 3 3/4. So trim that from the bottom because we're going to keep the tag part on the top. And trim our corners. And just make sure it fits inside. And it's a little too snug for me, so I'm going to trim just a little bit off my sides. And because I trimmed one side, I don't want my top parts looking uneven, so I trim them both. Oh, it should fit in there. Yeah. And our next page will be this piece. We need to do some trimming again here. It's, I always grab this ruler upside down, 2.5 by 4. So 2.5. And I'm going to cover up this bird nest. And it should be at 4. It's a little larger. Trim it just a smidge. This is where we need our scallop punch. And I'm going to put that in there. A scissor would work too if you don't have punches. There you go. And then this gets adhered to the page. And it goes to the right side. Mine looks wonderful. Let me see. Can I not measure that right? Oh, 2.5. So to the right side, all the way over. Okay. Next, we need this piece. And we don't do anything to that. So just run your tape along the bottom and adhere it to your book. it goes centered. And then our last page. We will need another sheet of paper. We're going to make a large pocket. So I chose pink. And we need to cut a piece that's 4 inches. And I'm going to use it this way so my pattern's not upside down. By 7.5. Don't matter to us. So we have a 7.5 by 4-inch piece. And we will need to score at 1/2 from your left edge, and then at 4. And this is a large pocket. That should look like that. So I'm going to match up my edges. And then burnish it. Because my writing, it needs to go this way. I am going to notch it. And then run the tape on the edge. It's almost a little too wide. And along the bottom, on the inside, making a pocket. And lay it down. And then, while it's off, we're going to take this piece. And we need to trim that about 1/2 inch off. So that that fits on there. And for this, I'm just going to use my tape runner. Then put adhesive on the back. And this gets attached to the book. On the last page, covering up my simple stories words. Like so. So now all your pages are in. And now we're going to be embellishing.